Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Professionals West Coast Edition here on NDB Media Network. Thank you for joining me. It is December 11th, 2024, and we have quite a bit of stuff that we want to go ahead and get to right now. So, thank you everyone for joining me tonight. And I think the biggest news, of course, in Major League Baseball is the signing, which happened late on Sunday night. And we did break the news here on Sports Talk with the Guys, at least the Facebook page, that Juan Soto signed a $765 million with escalators. Okay. So that means he can earn more than 765 million. It is non-deferred, so it's going to be paid out over the life of the contract through 2039. It comes with a $75 million signing bonus. According to Major League Baseball's Mark Eisen, the deal is front loaded. So Soto will receive 61 million in the first 5 seasons and 46 million over the final 10. And as I mentioned, there are escalators. And congratulations to the New York Mets for getting it done. And being a Yankee fan myself, look, I wanted Soto. There's no doubt about it. But I've been viewing this sport for a long time now, and I know things happen. I didn't know if they were really going to sign him. I would have been surprised had they kept him. But it is what it is. And congratulations to the Mets. I'm not angry in any way whatsoever. $765 million is quite a bit of money for one player. And oftentimes, when a team signs a player to a massive, I don't wish the Mets to choke, but on the contract, I mean, they already choke enough as it is. I mean, it is what it is. So I hope they do well. I want to see Juan Soto do well. He is a good player. He is good for the game. And congratulations to all parties. Folks, it's not an issue of greed. If you were in the same spot, you would have accepted the same thing. It is what it is. And hey, just take it. Just take it. I want to give a quick shout out to Elizabeth Olivia Cooper. Thank you for the like. And Patricia Bertrand. I hope you are doing well in the Great White North of Edmonton, Calgary. I hope you are well. And I understand it's very cold up there. In honor of you, Patricia, I am having Juanita's chicken pozole. So I'm going to have some right now. It is very cold right now. And the heat you see is not me, but the chicken pozole. Oh, this is Juanita. As you know, I'm a fan of it. I don't know if I have any images of it right here, right now. I probably don't. But as a joke, I always had it somewhere. And no, I don't have it right now. So I have to see if I can upload it a little bit. Uh, we don't get paid for this. We would gladly be paid for this, but we're not. But oh, the hominy and the chicken, and oh, the green pepper flavor salsa. Oh my goodness. Forgive me, folks. I have to partake. Mm. Oh boy. Now, understand that I'm having hot chicken pozole, and not 5 minutes ago I finished off the potato salad. So right now my mouth is like, what are you doing, dude? You're killing us with the temperature changes. But once again, thank you everyone for watching and continuing with the whole deal. Uh, I do not begrudge anyone money. Juan Soto was being offered this money. Cut it out. What are you going to do? You go with the one that's going to give you the most. And Juan Soto, congratulations to you. Dude, you're getting the money. Now, put up and shut up. So do what you need to do and don't want to hear it. You have money for a billion years. You'll never be able to spend all of it. So good for you. And congratulations. That's where your talent is, and that's where the market is. So, as I say, the vast majority of people who would be privileged enough to be in Juan Soto's shoes, so to speak, would take exactly that. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of what the Yankees offered and what the Mets offered. It's done. It's done. It's a record-breaking 15-year, $765 million. Now, I do want you guys to understand, and I did place it on Facebook, that when the final year of 2039 hits, Juan Bonilla will still have 5 years left on his deal. Now, granted, 1.5 million is nothing compared to the Soto earning 46 million at the time. But again, congratulations to Juan Bonilla. He's still being paid 1.5 million over a 25-year period, which I believe began in 2011. So good for him. Or I don't remember exactly when it's going to be, but congratulations to him. It's done. The Mets, good for you, dude. That's a lot of money. A lot of money. So I did talk very quickly that it has some escalator clauses and stuff, but here's a bit more of the detail. It contains a full no trade clause, meaning he doesn't matter what the Mets want to do or anyone else. He has final say whether he wants to go or not. It's a $75 million signing bonus, an opt-out after 5 seasons, and no deferred money. That means he's getting it in the year that he gets it. The Mets will have the ability to void Soto's opt-out clause after the 2029 season if they boost the average annual value of the final 10 years of his deal from 51 million to 55 million, according to a source. In that case, the overall deal would be for 15 years and 805 million, or an average annual value of 53.66 million. Wow. Of course, Mets owner Steve and Alex Cohen said in a statement that this is a seminal moment in franchise history. No, it's a seminal moment in your history because it remains to be seen. Again, when I found out the amounts of money, when it crossed 600 million, I'm like, okay, I kind of figured it would be there. I really felt that it would be in the 600 million range, 611 to 650. Why? Because it felt good. No other logic beyond that. When I heard it was 700 million and the Yankees were still in it, I'm like, all right, well, let's do it. We're a very rich team. We are the richest team in Major League Baseball, even though there are owners that have more value, such as the Guggenheim Group with the Dodgers, and of course, Mr. Cohen of New York Mets fame. He's worth approximately $21 billion. That's all well and good, but Yankees are a monster when it comes to money. But anyway, when it passed 700 million, I was getting nervous. That is a lot of money to one player, and he's good, but he has his faults. He's not perfect, but he's a phenomenal hitter. Getting on base, he's a machine. We'll see. We'll see how long he'll be able to keep it going. And again, congratulations to the Mets. But as I said, it's a seminal moment in franchise history. Juan Soto is a generational talent. Of course he is. He's not only bringing staggering historical statistics with him, but also a championship pedigree. Our amazing fan base is very excited to welcome Juan to Queens. Congratulations, Juan. And this whole thing about, things are out of control, Major League Baseball needs salary cap. No, they do not. They do not need a salary cap. They're operating just fine the way they are. This happened 10 years ago. It happened 10 years before that and 10 years before that. Major League Baseball has its luxury tax, and it's done. And it works in Major League Baseball. Look, the Mets are going to pay ungodly penalties every year if they want to compete. Same thing with the Dodgers. They're paying that price. And how are they paying? By jacking up everything at Dodger Stadium. And the Mets are going to do the same. It's already rather expensive already, but it's going to grow even more so. I just choose not to go to a Dodger game anymore because the price is just absolutely ridiculous. And I know I'm older, so the whole idea of when you're about 20, 21, you have an excellent idea of what everything costs you. And that will remain with you for the rest of your life. And it's always in your thinking. It was like, oh, I remember when this, it's usually in your early 20s. I remember paying $12 for field tickets at Dodger Stadium. That's out of control. They're in the $1,000 range now. Those numbers have skyrocketed. I will never, ever. Can I afford a $1,000 ticket? Yes. Do I wish to? No. How many times could I go to a game at $1,000? Probably a handful. That's it. So I'd rather do other stuff with that. And I do. But it's awesome. I've said for 10 years now, it's a great time to be a Dodger fan. The stuff speaks for itself. It's just terribly expensive, and I just don't want to spend that money. And I'd rather go to a minor league game where I get more value for the buck. And oftentimes the games are much more entertaining. But be that as it may, congratulations to the Dodgers with Shohei Ohtani, with Blake Snell. Blake Snell signing a big deal as well. Good for them. They're going to be supporting the rest of baseball through the luxury tax. And other owners are not going to spend anyway because that money is going to go to them. So it's an unequal system, and it is what it is. And the teams that are at the top are going to complain that the teams at the bottom aren't spending. Well, those are them rules, people. And it's, you want to spend, you're going to support the rest of the league. That's the way it works in Major League Baseball. $765 million is something that, even being the Yankees, I don't believe as general manager I would have gone that high. And good thing for the Mets. The Mets were not going to be outbid, and they did it. So, ya estuvo, as they say. So, again, congratulations to the Mets. And now build a team around him like they're doing in Philadelphia. Costs money to do so. So, good luck. And Mr. Cohen, you're going to be paying the rest of Major League Baseball now, at least for the next 15 years, if you put out a competitive team, because it costs money. So forgive me, folks. I'm going to take another slurp of my Juanita's chicken pozole while it's still hot and it's cold out here. Forgive me a moment. Man, that is great stuff. So, I mentioned Snell went to the Dodgers on a commensurate deal. I think it was 5 years or something, $182 million or something like that. Good for them. Now, I don't begrudge a player earning that, because if I were there, I would want to as well. I mean, come on, man. Let's get real. But now's the time to put up. Don't complain. Don't want to hear it. I never want to hear of you complain of salary. Or, I'm not paid enough, and I don't have the, shut up. Just complain. Or not complain, but just shut up and play ball. So, congratulations to them. All right. The funny thing is that in about 15 years, maybe at the end of the Soto timeframe, or maybe even in 10 years, we will have no, you know what? It's probably going to be in about 5 years. We're going to have the first $1 billion contract for Major League Baseball within the next 7 to 8 years. It's blind guess. Looking at the numbers, extrapolating, statistics, standard deviation 1, standard deviation 2, all that stuff. I know I'm boring you, but I love statistics. And I don't like deviating all that much. Forgive me. I'm going to go for another chicken pozole shot. Another thing that I want to talk about is something that was mentioned during Game 2 of the National League Championship Series on a podcast by our esteemed Rob Manfred. Have you ever heard him speak? If you find it annoying that people are using those audible pauses of or whatever. I've talked about that. I struggle with those, and I'm always trying to avoid them myself. And it is so annoying when you catch someone saying that. If you've ever listened to Rob Manfred, oh, for the love of all that is holy, it's terribly frustrating. So, Gabe Lax in the USA Today Sports Weekly had an article about the golden at bat, as was mentioned by the commissioner, as I said on a podcast. The podcast, I forget what it was, but it was during Game 6 of the National Championship Series. It's on the Varsity podcast. And of course, the people that were interviewing him, they didn't even really comment on it. And the very next day, when he was ambushed by press and media, no one said a word about the golden at bat, or they're calling it Gab. Now, we don't know if they were just dropping it to just see what kind of feel, or they're dropping it to, well, it's coming. And that's how they're going to start doing that. So, as you know, the whole idea of the golden at bat, as we understand it, is and we are in the Rob Manfred era of Major League Baseball, so I apologize. We don't know if it's a trial balloon or something that's already been decided through the committee, and they're just rubber stamping it. We'll see. The golden bat, which is a colloquialism, as Gabe Lecoq says, and we don't know if it's really going to happen or how exactly it's going to be, but basically it's you're going to get an at bat at as of right now at any point in the game. Some people have said, oh, it's got to be in the ninth inning or after the seventh. The point is you're going to at least have one at bat where you can put the batter of your choice to come back up again. It'll be out of order, and it can happen. Say you have one at bat, your best hitter finished the eighth inning. Well, you'd be able to bring the best hitter back, in theory, anytime in the ninth inning to lead off, to be the last out, got a few runners on. And this will change the game irrevocably. It would tear a fabric in baseball. The whole idea of the lineup, planning on the lineup, when you bring a relief pitcher in, when you had the double switch, which is now gone. Thank you, Mr. Manfred. It is something that I believe this will be the bridge too far. The golden bat will just make this game comical. It's something that you guys do when you go out to the playground and you just change the rules because there's fewer guys or players in the field. Sorry, that was sexist to me. If you're going to do this, where's it going to end? The golden at bat is, it's just, but anyway, the commissioner made the statement. People ignored it for a while until The Athletic followed up, spotlighting Manfred's assertion that there was a little buzz around it at the recent owners' meeting. As you know, there's 31 men in Major League Baseball that make the decisions. The owners and the commissioner, of course. Elizabeth says, hi, Mary E. Brewer. Fancy seeing you here. So I don't know if she's in Facebook or if she's on YouTube, but hi, Mary E. Brewer. So thank you for that. So we've talked about contraction in the past. We've talked about doing away with the pitcher batting, which came to pass. We have the ghost runners in extra innings. And what irritates me about the ghost runners is if it's a legitimate good rule, why isn't it in the playoffs as well? It happens throughout the entire regular season, but then the playoffs show up and there's no ghost runner. When you begin extra innings with their runner on at second base. Kind of like the softball rule that if the pitcher throws the first two balls to the leadoff hitter, they automatically advance to second base. That's in softball. In some leagues, not all leagues. But you know those rules going in. That softball is not baseball. We've heard about contraction. We've heard about the St. Petersburg White Sox and a few other things that never came to pass. We know we are moving towards robo umpires. They're just working out all the details. And it's a shame that we are, because I believe the human element needs to remain. I am not a proponent for, the review where you can review a play. Folks, I'm sorry. I played the game. And I've had calls go against me, and I've had calls that have benefited me. That is the game. That's baseball. And sorry, but the ones that are crying are the ones that never played it or never had the privilege. I'm sorry. And it is personal for me. It is something that is important to me. You're taking the human element out of the game. And besides, how many times has New York gotten it wrong anyway on the calls? And the plays at the plate, ridiculous. Makes you wonder who has better television, whether it's the review people or people who are watching the game. Same thing with football. It's a waste of time, because if you have a key play and you can't review it, what is the point of having review? If it's at the most critical moment of the game and you're unable to review it for whatever reason, what is the purpose of having instant replay? Those aren't my thoughts. Those are my beliefs. And this whole thing about the golden at bat, which I believe I've explained as best I can. For me, I have never said that publicly about anything that baseball has done. I've never, if they do this, I'm going to do this. If the golden bat comes to pass, that might be, and I said it just a few moments ago, that might be the bridge too far, because it's just going to take away from the game. I was against the clock because baseball already had rules that pitchers could only take so much time, but they never enforced it. I have, over the last 17 years that I've been on this program, I have contended all you have to do is follow the rules. Follow them. We wouldn't have to make up these other superfluous rules, but they don't. Baseball has conveniently ignored its rules when it's for the betterment of the game, such as you cannot have anything on your bat that exceeds the width of home plate. You all know what happened in 1983, George Brett against the New York Yankees. They were trailing 4-3 in the top of the ninth at New York, and Goose Gossage drills one, and George cranks it out. And the Royals lead 5-4. And Billy Martin, knowing the rules, said, take a look at the bat. They get the bat, and they see the pine tar clearly exceeded because they measured it. They got the bat, and they measured it, and clearly violated the rules, which everyone knew, and they called George Brett out correctly. Well, you all saw the psycho explode, and the Royals won it on appeal. How did they win the appeal? Because of the interpretation of the rule. Funny, because I've always contended that even though you cannot argue balls and strikes and other judgment calls, you can argue their interpretation of the ruling, and that still stands. So when that perfect game took place in Detroit with Mr. Galarraga Jr., and the umpire called him safe in one of the worst calls in the history of the game, everyone was like, oh, there's nothing you can do. Yeah, you can. You appeal the game. And I was laughed out by people who allegedly know the game. It says you can't appeal a judgment call. Morons. You're not appealing the call. You're appealing the interpretation. In fact, you are appealing the call. But you are appealing the interpretation. So in other words, I'm saying the umpires made the determination incorrectly, such as the George Brett incident. They got it overruled because of how the umpires interpreted the rule. Not whether they were right or wrong, it's how they interpreted it. So I've always known that. And when I see managers get mad because another manager gets the best of them, it's because they don't know the game. And folks, this whole thing, now I'm really going off on a tangent. The unwritten rules. Folks, the unwritten rules are what mama told you growing up. How you play the game. Don't diss your opponent. Don't make them look bad. That's what the unwritten rules are. You don't have to be angry. The fake unwritten. No. It's about being a human being and having dignity and respect for the game and your opponent. That's what the unwritten rules are. It's what Mama told us. Mama didn't write the rules down, yet we knew her rules because she told them to us. They were unwritten, yet we knew them. Same thing in baseball. So this whole thing of they make them up. I've had moments over the last few years where managers have blown up over something stupid, and even I've said, "You're just angry, so you're making it up," because they don't know the rules, and oftentimes they don't. It takes the rest of us who keep score and know the rules to understand that stuff. I do. So it is what it is. Liz, did you have any comments in the chat room, or anyone else watching today? Did you have any comments? We did go over the hit by the NFL player on Saturday, after all. So I don't feel that we should go over it any more than we have right now. And I don't have anyone else on with me right now that wants to share their opinion. So it's all good. I got my thoughts out there, my beliefs, and I'm not going to go ahead and repeat them anymore. So I've been doing quite a bit of that tonight. So I do want to thank everyone that joined me in the chat room, that's watching us live, and will be joining us after the fact once this program enters the archive. We thank you. We appreciate you. Don't forget to watch Sports Talk with the Guys every Saturday at 6 a.m. Pacific time here on the NDB Media Network. You can see it scrolling across the bottom over there and also under my name. So at this point, let's see. We have Thursday night football coming up tomorrow. And I'm going to give my pick now. I won't post it till a little bit later. But the Thursday night game is the Rams 7-6 at the 49ers, who are 6-7. That's a gimme. It's going to be the Rams. That's going to be my choice. So I am going for the Steelers. I've already made that choice, but I'm not going to make it official until we get there. And I am going for the Raiders. I'm predicting an upset. But I know no one's watching the program right now, so it'll be a surprise to a few people. But I am going to go with the Raiders for Monday night. I just think they're ready to go. So we'll see. But all right, folks, thank you. Head on over to ndbmedia.net. There's a lot of stuff going on. Check it out. Our regular programming and special programming. A lot of stuff. Thank you. The professionals will be on. Let's see. Not January 1st. Not January. I don't know. I'll have to find out. I may do one on January 1st. You're the outlier. You're going for the Niners. You do you. For everyone else, folks, thanks. We appreciate you. We love you. We'll see you guys on the other side.